Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today, I know the title may surprise you guys. Like, I know that the thumbnail probably caught you guys off guard, but just let me explain because I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of questions and maybe a lot of emotional, raw reactions to my thumbnail. Because honestly, guys, it really is true once you think about it. And I'm really going to break it down in this video starting right now. So sit back and relax and enjoy. All right, so now that that's out the way, let's really break down the Black Bulls because, of course, we as Black Clover fans, we love the Black Bulls. They are the main squad in the series that is really shined a light upon by Yuki Tabata, especially with his writing. And the Black Bulls have a whole host of characters, or rather cast of characters, that really just, man, like they stick to us. When we look at, for instance, Magna or Luck or any of the other Black Bulls, especially Yami, we just attach to them so well because, of course, Yuki Tabata's writing is in general really well done. And also I think that at the end of the day we can kind of compare the Black Bulls to the Straw Hat crew in One Piece, not necessarily right now, but I think over time it's going to really grow. However, the Black Bulls are not without their problems and faults, and I just have to be honest here, guys. The Golden Dawn is actually a better squad. Now, you may be thinking how, the Golden Dawn, they got slaughtered by Xenon and whatnot, but I'm not talking about just power-wise. I mean, just in terms of organization and even just underachieving. And yes, I've said it, the Black Bulls are underachievers. And you guys may be like, what do you mean? Like, the Black Bulls, they have accomplished something so great within the past few years, especially with Asta being there. But that's the key word, guys. After Asta got there, the Black Bulls were kind of underachievers before he had arrived and was sort of like that battery pack to really encourage them. And this is not to say that Yami is a bad leader, but I'm gonna have to be honest with you guys. William, in terms of how he ran the Golden Dawn to success throughout many years, was way better than Yami. Yami, he's a very good motivational speaker, but when it comes to his leadership in terms of how he runs a squad, he's not exactly the best, and that's not always a bad thing. Some people aren't always, natural born leaders, but I have to say there was a reason why the Black Bulls were literally like last in place before Asta had got there. And I think that the Black Bulls were just so used to being underachievers. And the Black Bulls are that squad that have a whole host of talent. They are the most talented squad in the Clover Kingdom. We got Luck, Magna, Ghost, all of them. But if we really measure up the talent with what they have done before Asta had got there, is really just a letdown. And I know that the Black Bulls may not actually care about stuff like that, but at the same time, we really have to go back to Nock's comments about the Black Bulls. I believe it was around Black Clover chapter 267, I believe. And I really had to agree with Nock because at the same time, the Black Bulls, again, they're talented and I think they're used to riding high on their talent. But Nock just broke it down to him. He said, look, you guys are not elite. You guys are not even good in the first place. You guys have a whole host of issues. And Nocta kind of recognized it because with his shadow magic, I believe it was later in the chapters, we realized that Nocta had actually been watching over the Black Bulls. So it's not like he wasn't there watching their victories and their triumphs. But at the same time, he wants things neatly and done in order. That's just how Nock truly is. He tries to, in a way, encourage them to achieve higher success because he knows for a fact that these guys are massively talented. But at the same time, they underachieved so much before Asta had arrived. And for what reason? And now that I really think about it, now that I really just break it down, there was no reason for them to underachieve. There was no reason for them with all this talent, for them to be last in place every single year. That's by choice. That's not because the Clover Kingdom had hated them, although definitely they had a very bad reputation. They could have changed their reputation around before Asta even got there. Yami just really didn't care enough to actually try to change the culture of the Black Bulls organization, and he should have, because to be honest with you guys, Yami, again, like I said before, he's a great aspect of the whole entire Black Bull squad. He is the master at surpassing his limits, but when it comes to organization, actually, pushing the squad to his limits, and that's kind of the one main thing that I kind of just have to look at with Yami, because Yami, he is like the leader, but at the same time, he's always talking about surpassing your limits, but the Black Bulls didn't surpass their limits when it came time to actually underachieving in the Clover Kingdom. They underachieved so much. And I know that Noct may sound kind of harsh, but he goes into the particular problems with the Black Bulls just one by one. For instance, with Finral, he tells Finral that you are just too focused on women. You are not pushing yourself as far as spatial magic is concerned. He is an underachiever. When he talks about Vanessa, she has a drinking problem. That is realistic. If you're always drunk or always under the influence, how can you expect to even train? And also he goes into the fact that Ghost, I believe, is too focused on his sister, and also he was a convict as well. And he just goes down the list of underachievers. Now, notice with all of this, he doesn't really talk about Asta because he knows that Asta is the most likely the hardest working person on the Black Bulls aside from Noel and Yami. However, at the same time, Noct, again, he tells these Black Bulls, like I said before, to push yourself to the limit and be better. And I like the fact that, Grace, she does kind of stand up to Noct and says, no, that's not true. We're good people. Yeah, but just because you're a good person doesn't mean that you're good in every single area. And the one thing that Noct does say, which is true, the Black Bulls are underachievers, and he hates that. Why? Because Noct is a guy that obviously, he is in terms of involved in espionage, and you have to be perfect in particular. Especially Noct's job was pretty hard. Noct had one of the hardest jobs in the Clover Kingdom. He literally had to go undercover under the Spade Kingdom. In the Spade Kingdom, they're not a bunch of dummies. They're pretty smart, especially when we look at the Dark Triad, as far as the plans that they have as well. Our boy Noct had to be particular about everything that he did, and everything had to be in order. Otherwise, he was going to be quickly found out and then eventually killed. So he had to be smart. He had to be resourceful. But when he looks at the Black Bulls, can you imagine if you're undercover in the Spade Kingdom doing your thing, you're trying to really push yourself to the limit because you know that the world is at stake, and you see the Black Bulls just joking around? I mean, can you imagine Noct just hating them? I can see why, because imagine you're undercover, literally every day could be your last day, and you see Vanessa just drunk on the side, or you see Magna and Luck just doing some stupid stuff with your shadow magic. I can really imagine Noct just being quite, highly upset about that. And watching Yami, who is the leader of all of this, and he knows for a fact that Yami is very strong. He knows that Yami is talented, but Yami's just lets the whole squad just go to waste before Asta had got there. And on the flip side, when we look at the Golden Dawn, I know that a lot of people have opinions about William. This is the one thing I will say about William. Say what you want about him, but the one thing I have to say is that he's obviously a good leader for his squad because they left such an impression on him. Everything was in order. Everything was in place. They made sure to place at least top 1 or 2 in terms of the Magic Knight stars that they would have earned for their squad. So obviously, William, he's on his thing. He's a professional. And that's the one main thing that Yami kind of lacks, is that he's not a professional. Yami is a brute. But that is actually why we love Yami, because he is a brute. He's not professional. He's in your face about it, and he's blunt. However, in the future, I would like to see Yami with a little bit of mixture of Flugolion, because Flugolion is professional as well. He is kind of heroic. He's kind of like Superman a little bit in terms of the personality-wise, while Yami, again, guys, he's like a savage. And when we look at Nozel is, again, he's a professional. And when we look at William is the ultimate professional as far as the Clover Kingdom is concerned in terms of how he ran his Magic Knight squad. Again, guys, I'm not here to say that William is the best character in the series. However, one thing that I do have to say is that he does have this over Yami. He is a professional. He ran his squad the way that it should have been. And it took Asta getting there just to change the culture of the Black Bulls. No longer were they losers, but winners. Because Asta, he's not going to settle for less. And that's the one main thing that I did notice about Asta in terms of the difference between him and many of the members of the Black Bulls, was that the Black Bulls were comfortable with taking less because they knew that they were talented. They're like, when we look at Charmy, she had a little bit of spike in power, so we know how good she is as well. When we look at Luck, Luck knows he's talented, but at the same time, like I said before, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And at the end of the day, Asta wasn't given anything. And the rest of the Black Bulls, yes, they may be, their own outcasts in terms of their own different nobility, families, and whatnot. But at the same time, Asta was literally giving nothing at birth, while the Black Bulls, many of them, could have been on different squads and could have excelled in that if they simply pushed themselves harder. They just didn't want to. And just to end the video off, guys, just check this out. It took a magicless kid from the poorest village in the Clover Kingdom to come to the most talented squad in the Clover Kingdom, the Black Bulls, and he outworked them on every single level and proved to them that yes, even though he has no magic, that he still is going to work hard no matter what cards that he was given in life. And that is the reason why the Black Bulls are where they at now, because of Asta. Asta was the one to push them to the limits. And it's funny because Yami is always the one saying that you have to surpass your limits, but Yami didn't really surpass his limits when it came time to his leadership skills as far as the Black Bulls is concerned before Asta had got there. But I think that Asta may have reminded Yami of himself when he was younger, that, hey, look, nothing is given. You have to work hard no matter what. And that is why we as a fan base love Asta, because Asta, he is truly a leader. But anyway, that does it for me today, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, comment down below and tell me what you guys thought about my controversial views on this video. I know that some people are going to be like, no, we love the Black Bulls. I'm not saying the Black Bulls aren't awesome, but they do have flaws just like any other group in anime history, even the Straw Hat Crew. And as always, make sure you guys stay safe out there, and peace.